Technology, and James Sanders is here. James, I met James years ago. I won't say how long ago, but at that time, you were doing the technology for the town of Cornelius,
Yes.
doing all of their stuff, keeping them safe, but doing everything there. Air Force veteran.
Thank you for your service.
I
Yeah.
did the least amount possible.
Hey.
I promise.
That doesn't matter.
I promise.
But and I love your motto that you have: work hard, work smart, trust God.
Yes.
Sounds amazing.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
This guy keeps me out of trouble, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. But a few years ago, I served on the Habitat for Humanity board, and I was the nominating committee. So the executive director was supposed to be sending me a Word document of the people that we were nominating that night with bios, so I could study them and be really up on them. So I'm expecting this Word doc to come up, and I get this Word doc coming over, and it's in the cloud. And I'm going like, okay, well, I hadn't seen it like that before, but I clicked on it and it just spun. And I clicked on it again, it just spun and it said, invalid password. So, boop, boop. Yeah, me. Of course, this is 10, 15 years ago, wasn't it, James? I put my password in, it spun, and so I said, crap. Okay, I'm going to be there later on. I'll just deal with it then. I get there and he says, I hope you didn't open up anything for me. We got a virus.
Oh,
In the meantime, I'm getting all of these people texting me and emailing, hey, do you know you're sending me emails and stuff? You know, how many times this guy say, don't open something? But I was expecting a Word document from a
you
guy,
got hacked.
and I got a Word document from a guy, and I was totally sure that this was above board.
There's probably a guy listening, and then he
James,
sent you a fake
how
one.
many times do you have clients or customers that absolutely was sure this was a legitimate email and they clicked on it?
We get it. We get one a month at least.
Yeah.
I was going to
And
say
it's
one a minute.
smart people. The bad guys are really smart at what they do, and they know how. Today, I got an email that I looked at, and I was like, Bank of America. Now, what was that? And I had forgotten that I had an open transaction with them that I was asking about. It was a legitimate question I was asking over email. They were sending me a secure message. I'm staring at that email, I was like, man, this looks so legit. I probably wasted like 3 minutes evaluating this email. I'm like, man, this is a good one.
That's a good
These
one.
bad guys are really. And I was like, actually,
a
I
real
think
one.
I'm expecting, and did that. So it happens.
You know, and one of the things James puts on programs, and we're going to talk about shared technologies when we come back from the break, but James points out, you know, if you see Bill Russell's email address in the top, click on it and just see, okay, where's that email address going? And if it's going to Bill Russell at UK, that's
Yes. Yeah.
probably not going to be Bill. So there's a lot of telltale signs. But something that is going on with a lot of businesses, and you just said it, they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. I get text all the time telling me that, hey, this is going on with this bank, or we're not able to process this, and I don't have an account with that bank. But you look at it, and it looks really, really good. What are the biggest cybersecurity challenges facing our small businesses today?
Small businesses have the challenge of not having the resources. So you can't run DBAT and keep track of cybersecurity. You can try really hard.
Well,
and
I
you can
guess that's
invest.
why my bill is so high, remember?
I guess so. So it's a matter of resources. If you're concentrating on what you do best, then it's difficult to stay ahead of the game. Even, I mean, just subscribe to cybersecurity on social media would be bad enough, because it's going to add all that overhead to your life. It's a lack of resources for small businesses. Just not enough there to have your own IT department.
And I told you that I wanted you to be on the show today because we touched on just a couple of weeks ago artificial intelligence with another speaker. And we're going to see artificial intelligence playing larger and larger roles with organizations. Brett Hicks works for the Chamber of Commerce. Every time I write something, he takes my writing and then comes back and says, hey, I just wanted you to see this. I had AI rewrite your piece.
Sure.
And, you know, I go like, okay. Now, there are times that I look at it and go like, well, that's pretty good.
Yes.
But there's times I go like, I like what I wrote. But we're also going to see that artificial intelligence playing a larger role in the election than we've ever seen before.
Yes.
But I want you to talk about it. How is artificial intelligence going to impact business?
It is going to remove a lot of the manual pieces of it. Like Brett hand you your information
Mm-hmm.
rewritten.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask uh, AI engines to rewrite something, you can give it direct commands like make it softer, make it more commanding, make it more succinct, make it flowery, whatever you want. And so instead of you having to go back and spend that time on it, AI is going to do that for you. It can process a vast amount of data really fast. And so it's going to make our lives better.
You know,
Can I ask a question?
no,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
Does that impact any jobs?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, it'll be like the Industrial Revolution,
Okay.
where people used to do a whole lot of things manually. Those people will slowly either convert to running machines, and so we will either convert to working with information more to get away from our manual processes, or in time we'll just retire over time. It's a natural evolution from my perspective. It'll
Yes.
happen gradually, and it's already happening gradually. We're already seeing it in a lot of places, and that's where we are.
That's what we want, right?
That is what we want.
To retire
Yeah,
earlier.
Elon Musk would say that he wants AI to take over and do all this stuff for us so that we can relax and have better lives. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
torn.
We
You know-
talk about my parents and their parents and what they thought was a better life,
Right.
and how life
It's
over
changed,
time is
though.
crappier for us than it was for them.
Right.
And you think about myself in the 70s and how camping in the backyard was phenomenal and
Amazing.
nice. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't
You
know
know,
that
you were
piece.
talking about creating a softer approach. You know, I had a nonprofit tell me she was tasked with creating a solicitation letter to try to get donations and contributions. And so she stuck in some keywords and then had AI write the letter. And she was like, this thing wrote this letter in less than 5 minutes, and it was beautiful. It was
Sure.
everything I wanted in a solicitation letter.
Yes. I have done that for a nonprofit solicitation letter myself.
And how long did it take you?
Instant. You just tell it what you want,
How you
how you
would
want
want.
it, and it kicks right back out to you.
What's the role of human expertise in AI driven cybersecurity?
AI-driven cybersecurity is it looks at a lot of data really fast. It identifies opportunities to improve and threats and predicts threats. But what it can't do is it can't set policy. It can't prioritize. It can't set the strategic plan to put the improvements in place. And so humans are always going to be there for that. So an example of that would be AI-driven cybersecurity would recognize that the amount of email coming into your email account has more phishing attempts than you would normally get. Phishing being trying to get your attention to click on something over email, and it could report, hey, there's an uptick in the number of phishing attempts and Bill's email address. I'd recommend, AI would recommend turning on multi-factor authentication, maybe some training, whatever various things. But it still takes a human to stop and look at it and say, okay, what's right and what's within our budget, because budget plays a big role, especially when we're talking about small businesses and most of the businesses in this area, and your chamber members. And so humans have to stop and give it a sanity check and decide which pieces of what it's recommending are we going to implement.
You know, outside of allowing allowing me to handle a company's cybersecurity, how can small businesses build trust in customers when it comes to cybersecurity?
To build trust when it comes to cybersecurity, you should be as transparent as possible. We should not pretend as though we are doing something that we're not, because our clients and partners should be aware of what weaknesses and threats are there so that they can do their part with it. When something bad happens, be honest, upfront, and forthcoming, and give all the information and suffer for the mistake that you made. So when something bad happens, unlike theft,
Yep.
right? Unlike
I was just
theft,
thinking that.
where it's like DBAT gets hit, somebody shows up and steals something from you, and we're all like, "Oh, those rotten sons of guns!" Right? When it comes to cybersecurity, people don't go and say, "Oh, that's too bad that happened to you." Instead, they look at it and they go, "Well,
What?
what did you not do right?" you know. And so when something bad happens, you are not a victim. You are responsible for it because it was up to you to come up with the solution and prevent it in the first place. And really, the reputation goes out as are you stupid or are you incompetent? And so you have to choose which one you're going to spin when it happens. I'm stupid. This is my fault, or I'm incompetent. I just didn't know whatever. And business owners make those decisions every single day. Am I going to be stupid or am I going to be incompetent? Now I have the
Or lazy.
information. Yeah, now I have the information. I'm choosing not to spend the money. I'm accepting the risk. I'm
Yep.
incompetent.
We're seeing things, and whether you want to call it misinformation or whatever, that is kind of being created by this artificial intelligence or people manipulating images and data.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is nothing new either since the beginning of the internet. So stories are spun and they're put out there. And what I what I would say is stay focused on the big picture. You know what? It's a world of good versus evil, and there's a whole lot of noise to distract us from what's truly important. Stay focused on what's truly important. Putting in your time, serving your community, taking care of your clients the correct way, always doing the next right thing, praying before you go to bed at night. Focus on that.
Yep.
James,
Will
we
now.
appreciate you being here. Brooke, we appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here. If it's Wednesday afternoon, we're talking about our towns on Town Talk on WSIC. We'll see you next week.